He wiped his tears. The house lights came on. When the house lights came on, I would generally, before the house lights would come on, I would get up and leave. But I just didn't feel like leaving or asking him to move his hand because he'd held it so tight. I could sense that. I felt that
the movie has wrenched it out.
Yes, I felt that intensity in his grip. And when he noticed me, I know that sigh. I still have that sound in my ears, like, oh. It is the greatest blessing that I recognize today. I want to continue doing that.
Born in the mighty Himalayas, forged in the harsh, frozen valleys of Ladakh, the Zanskari pony, a rare gift of nature to Bharat, one of India's few native horse breeds, endangered yet unbreakable, resilient, fearless, unmatched. At the world's highest battlefield, the Siachen Glacier, where oxygen thins to nothing, where blizzards howl and temperatures plunge to -40, where even machines surrender, the Zanskari pony marches on. Let us now journey with the silent soldiers and join them in their debut march at the Kartavya Path, Republic Day Parade 2026.
And they have proven themselves, and when they have been brought down, they have generated immense interest amongst the public.
एल्टीट्यूड एरिया वो सियाचिन ग्लेशियर में 40 से 60 किलो वजन लेके बड़े आराम से चढ़ाई भी चढ़ जाते हैं और उतरने में उतर भी जाता है और इनको कोई दिक्कत भी नहीं आता है। जैसे -20 में भी हो, बर्फ में भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं होती। क्या वो सियाचिन ग्लेशियर में ये 40 से 60 किलो वजन लेके एक दिन में कम से कम 40 किलोमीटर का ये यात्रा कर लेते हैं और बड़े आराम से कर लेते हैं, चढ़ाई भी चढ़ जाते हैं और उतर जाते हैं।
नुब्रा से रहने वाला हूँ, बीच के साथ पूरा देखभाल करता हूँ। पूरी इन बीमार भी काम आते हैं, ये हम बच्चों के साथ देखभाल अच्छी तरह से करते हैं। मेरा नाम संजय मोहम्मद है, मैं नुब्रा पट्टापुर रहने वाला हूँ। मैं 2012 से अभी से कोर्स में काम करने वाला हूँ और इनका देखभाल पूरा काम, घास दाना पानी सब खिलाते हो और इनको बहुत से प्यार करते हो और इन्हें से खिलाते रहता हूँ।
जैसे कि ये पोनी हमारे लिए बहुत सेक्रीफाइस करता है, ये किसी भी कंडीशन में रहे, किसी भी हालत में, दिन रात कभी भी हम इसको ड्यूटी के लिए तैयार कर देते हैं। तो ये अपना व्यवहार से कभी ये पता नहीं चलने देता कि मना कर रहा है, हमेशा तैयार रहता है ड्यूटी के लिए। और ड्यूटी पे जैसे पोस्ट पे हम चलते हैं, कभी कभार ऐसे कारावास आते हैं या खाए आते हैं जो हमें खुद को डर लगता है, पर ये निडर होकर बिल्कुल आगे आगे ड्यूटी के लिए चलते रहता है।
जैसे कि हम अगर इनके चैलेंजेस के बारे में बात करेंगे तो बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस आता है इनके रास्ते के ऊपर। हम ड्यूटी करते हैं, ये जानवर ज्यादातर नॉर्थ ग्लेशियर और सेंट्रल ग्लेशियर के ऊपर बहुत सारे कारावास आता है। कारावास के और रास्ते भी बहुत छोटे होते हैं, दुर्गम होते हैं। उसको अपने शरीर और पूरे सामान, एम्यूनिशन जितना भी ये लेके जाता है, पूरे सेफ्टी के साथ बचाता हुआ अपना गंतव्य स्थल में ले जाके छोड़ते हैं हम लोग। और ये पोनीज बिल्कुल ही इतना अपना दिमाग से चलता है, इनको जब लगता है कि आगे जाके कारावास है, वो अपना खुद के सेफ्टी के साथ साथ सामान के सेफ्टी करके भी लेके जाते हैं। और ये 15,000 फीट तक एक दिन छोड़ के एक दिन या डेली ये हमेशा तैयार रहता है अपना ड्यूटी के लिए।
भाषा समझता है, जैसे मैं इसको बोल रहा हूँ एट ये खाने के लिए रेडी है और बिल्कुल क्लोज जाऊंगा तो कुछ नहीं करेगा, ऐसे कि मतलब फ्रेंडली रहता है मेरा, ये दोस्त या भाई मान लो वैसे ट्रीट करता है मेरे को। इनके पैर राजस्थानी कैमल है उसी की तरह, इनके भी गतिदार होते हैं और लंबे समय तक चल सकते हैं। ऐसे नहीं कि इसके घिस जाते हैं, घिसते नहीं है। यानी कि ये रोड पे हो, चाहे पथरीली भूमि हो या पर्वत पे चढ़ा हो, कहीं पे भी सब जगह कंफर्टेबल रहते हैं।
जय हिंद। The participation of Zanskari ponies and Bactrian camels in the Republic Day parade on Kartavya Path stands as a testament to the importance of animal soldiers in the Indian Army and the recognition of their invaluable service and sacrifices. It is an historic moment for the Remount and Veterinary Corps. Jai Hind.
Remount Veterinary Corps की जय! Remount Veterinary Corps की जय! Remount Veterinary Corps की जय!
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. The president is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO, Jamie Dimon, seeking at least $5 billion in damages.
No, I haven't stopped it. No, he debanked me. So we'll see if that beeps anything, but I think it should. You shouldn't be debanked. Get debanked if you don't have money or if you're involved and you have this great company and all of a sudden I was told, no, you can't do that. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I don't know what their excuse would be. Maybe their excuse would be the regulators. I don't know. But regardless, I guess it's a good lawsuit because every pundit has come out and said Trump has a great lawsuit here. You're not allowed to do what they did. Jamie Dimon, what he did, he's not allowed to do that.
The lawsuit, filed on Thursday, January 22nd in Miami-Dade County State Court, centers on a controversial practice known as debanking. The president alleges that the bank has systematically denied services to him and his associated businesses, not because of financial risk, but due to political bias. This isn't just a dispute over a checking account. This is a high-stakes legal battle that accuses the largest bank in the United States of trade libel, bad faith, and violating state consumer protection laws. The core of the complaint is that J.P. Morgan Chase violated Florida's deceptive trade practices law. The legal team for the president argues that Florida law explicitly prohibits financial institutions from terminating accounts or denying services based on a person's political opinions.
You became very famous during Balika Badhu. At that time, there was a huge amount of fame and focus, right?
There was.
People must be writing about you. The media must be after you. The paparazzi would have written about you.
There were no paparazzis at that time.
You're not that old. Don't bull.
I mean it. There were no paparazzi.
You were no paparazzi at that time.
There were no paparazzis.
They didn't chase you when you came out of the gym, when you came out of home.
No.
This has happened now? There was no Viral Bayani then?
Back then, it was just,
What do you mean back then? If you keep talking, I'm over a decade older to you. If you keep saying back then I'll stop driving the car here.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean...
What am I then? Back then.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। राजा और प्योर मसाला।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
You're watching 6 Stories at 6. Let's see what is making the headlines this Sunday. Tejasvi Yadav announced as RJD working president. Lalu's daughter calls Tejasvi's elevation a conspiracy. This year's Padma Awards bring national recognition to unsung heroes from across India in healthcare, art and literature. And countdown to Republic Day to see many firsts like Suryastra system and the Bhairav battalion. Pakistan comes out openly to back Bangladesh. PCB chief Mohsin Naqvi threatens to boycott the T20 World Cup. Back-to-back controversial remarks by MIM leaders after Zahir Sheikh. Now Imtiaz Jalil says not just Mumra will turn entire Maharashtra green. President Trump warns Canada that the US would impose 100% tariff if the Prime Minister makes a trade deal with China. So that's what we're tracking on 6 Stories at 6. Let's start with the top story we're tracking. That is coming from Bihar. RJD Chief Lalu Prasad's younger son, Tejasvi Yadav, has been named the working president of the party at its national executive meeting. The appointment coincides with visible signs of internal disquiet within the party. Lalu Prasad's daughter, Rohini Acharya, has alleged that the party's control had slipped into the hands of infiltrators and conspirators, whose sole aim, she claimed, was to destroy Lalubad. More in this report.
The Rashtriya Janata Dal redraws its power map, and the message is loud and clear. At the party's national executive meeting, RJD chief Lalu Prasad Yadav appoints his political heir. Tejasvi Yadav, the younger son, the face of the campaign, the chief ministerial bit, and now the national working president of the RJD.
के आदरणीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष लालू प्रसाद जी के आदेश पर संवैधानिक प्रस्ताव लाया गया। उस संवैधानिक प्रस्ताव में संविधान में उनको जो प्रदत्त शक्ति है उसके तहत श्री तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव जी को कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष बनाया गया है। इससे निश्चित तौर से पूरे देश में देश के युवाओं का रुझान दल के प्रति बढ़ेगा और दल में नई ऊर्जा आएगी और राष्ट्र ये युवा हैं सभी जगह घूम करके संगठन को मजबूत करने का काम करेंगे और निश्चित तौर से दल आगे बढ़ेगा।
परिवार में एक नाराजगी नजर आई सर, क्या कहा?
राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी का ही आदेश था, उन्हीं के आदेश से हुआ है। परिवार में किसी भी तरह का कोई नाराजगी नहीं।
परिवार में रोहिणी आचार्य का जो ट्वीट आया सर,
सभी लोग सर्वसम्मत हैं।
कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष लालू जी के सहमति नहीं आशीर्वाद से और पूरी राष्ट्रीय कार्य समिति ने सर्वसम्मति से एक ऊर्जावान नौजवान तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव को अपना कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष चुना है। अब पार्टी के दायित्व के निर्वहन की कमान तेजस्वी जी के हाथ में है। राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हमारे लालू जी बने रहेंगे, काम ये देखेंगे और पार्टी में गति लाएंगे, जनाधार फैलाएंगे, नए कार्यकर्ताओं की भर्ती करेंगे और जो संवैधानिक संस्थाओं पर और हमले हो रहे हैं उसके खिलाफ संघर्ष को तेज करेंगे।
A move that cements succession, even as questions swirl after the Mahagathbandhan's poll setback last year.
तेजस्वी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामना कि और ये बहुत खुशी की बात है पार्टी के लिए भी और बिहार के लोगों के लिए भी और सभी कार्यकर्ता के लिए कि अब राष्ट्रीय जनता दल को एक अध्यक्ष और एक कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष मिले हैं और दोनों लोग के मार्गदर्शन में बहुत अच्छा कार्य करेगी। संगठन पे तेजस्वी ने भाषण दिया, कहा कि संगठन को और मजबूत करना है, किस तरह से बूथ तक सबको मजबूत करना है। बहुत सारी बातों की चर्चा अंदर मीटिंग में हुई है और अभी तो यही कह सकते हैं कि बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है तेजस्वी को और मुझे लगता है कि सभी नेता सहयोग करेंगे इस जिम्मेदारी को आगे बढ़ाने में और कार्यकर्ता भी उसको सहयोग करेंगे।
The party says the decision was unanimous, but the family's internal feud says otherwise. Elder sister Rohini Acharya openly expressed her unhappiness with Tejaswi's elevation. Allegations fly, or infiltrators, conspirators, claims that shadowy forces are tightening their grip over the RJD. Rohini Acharya warns the sole objective is to destroy Laluwad. The family fault lines deepen. Elder brother Tej Pratap Yadav, already expelled, already sidelined now, running his own outfit, Jan Shakti Janata Dal, which is yet to make an impact in Bihar.
जिम्मेवारी मिला है तो अपना जिम्मेवारी को निर्वाह करे और क्या बोल सकते हैं हम। जिसको जो जिम्मेवारी मिलता है उसको अपना पालन करना चाहिए।
रोहिणी आचार्य ने ट्वीट करके कहा है कि कठपुतली बना शहजादा मुबारक हो, ताजपोशी मुबारक हो।
हाँ तो सही तो लिखी है उन्होंने जो ट्वीट किया है, बिल्कुल 100% सही ट्वीट किया है। तो अब देखिए जो फैसला उन्होंने अगर लिया है तो सही में लिया होगा, ऐसा उनको लगा होगा तो अच्छी बात है, अपना लोग आगे बढ़ रहा है।
Power consolidated, succession clarified, but unity still a question mark. As Tejaswi tightens his grip on the party, the real challenge may not be the opposition outside, but the unrest within.
And viewers, the nation has once again celebrated excellence and selfless service with the announcement of the Padma Awards 2026, conferred on the eve of Republic Day to all individuals whose extraordinary contributions have enriched India's social, cultural, scientific and humanitarian fabric. This year's list shines a spotlight on true unsung heroes, ordinary citizens who have worked very, very hard, and they have made profound, lasting impacts in fields ranging from social service and healthcare to arts, education, tribal welfare, and grassroots innovation. These honorees, selected through a rigorous nomination process, exemplify the spirit of service that strengthened the nation, inspiring millions as India prepares to celebrate Republic Day with pride in its hidden champions.
Several individuals known for their quiet service to society have been honored with the Padma Shri under the Unsung Heroes category this year. The Padma Awards 2026 celebrate India's finest talents, honoring individuals whose lifelong dedication and selfless service have strengthened the nation across diverse fields. First on the list is Anke Gowda, a 75-year-old from Karnataka who established a massive private library. He has been honored with Padma Shri for his contribution in literature and education. While the other unsung heroes on the list is Kailash Pant, an environmentalist who is dedicated to Himalayan conservation. Armida Fernandez from Maharashtra has also been recognized with Padma Shri for her work in the field of medicine.
Armida Fernandez, recipient of the prestigious Padma Shri Award. Pediatrician in Mumbai who has forever changed the survival prospects of infants. She established Asia's first human milk bank, trained over 2,000 nurses, doctors and hospital teams in Maharashtra, dramatically reducing infant mortality from 70% to 12%. Armida Fernandez, mother of Indian neonatology, transformed pediatric care in India.
In the field of sports, Bhiklia Ladakya Dinda from Maharashtra and Bhagwan Das Raikar from Madhya Pradesh has been recognized for their contribution in sports.
Pandas Raikwar, Padma Shri awardee. Bundeli war art trainer preserved Bundelkhand's legendary martial art for future generations. Using his own limited resources, he set up the Chhatrasal Bundelkhand Akhada in 1964, where he has taught the use of 4 traditional weapons, trained over 1,000 students and performed in various countries. Bundelkhand's martial culture and traditions remain intact thanks to Bhagwan Das Raikwar.
Contributing in the field of social work, the next name on the list for Padma Awardees 2026 is Brijlal Bhatt from JNK. According to sources, there are about 45 persons who were awarded the Padma Shri Awards in the Unsung Heroes category. Every year on the eve of Republic Day, the Padma Awards are conferred by the Government of India to recognize individuals who have made exceptional contributions in their respective fields. From remote villages to grassroots movements, these Padma awardees represent the spirit of silent service. Hailing from states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra and Assam, their journeys reflect unwavering commitment to the nation building.
Yamnam Jatra Singh, Padma Shri awardee, Manipur. Committed his life to Natha Sankirtana. Having mastered the fundamentals of the art, he connected with royalty and common man alike. He mentored young artists and worked to expand the art even at the age of 100. Yumnam Jatra Singh, the dancing legend of Manipur.
And viewers, the countdown to Republic Day has begun. Preparations are in full swing on Kartavya Path, where the sight and sounds of India's armed forces are already taking shape. From the Navy's latest visuals capturing their preparations to the Indian Army showcasing unique additions, this year's parade reflects both tradition and operational readiness. As the first Republic Day since Operation Sindoor, the focus is firmly on capability, preparedness and resolve. Here is a look as we count down to Republic Day.
Ahead of the Republic Day, the Kartavya Path is already echoing with the voice and music of the Indian Armed Forces. In the recent video posted by the Indian Navy, it showcases the zeal and enthusiasm of our soldiers of the sea. The Zanskari ponies and Bactrian camels have been a gift of nature to the Indian Army. They survive through harsh climates and in regions where oxygen reaches to bare minimum. They will also make their debut in this year's Republic Day parade. From the debut of the Veterinary Corps to showcasing of weapons used in Operation Sindoor, we can only expect the best from this year's Republic Day. Even the EU leaders Ursula von der Leyen and Kaja Kallas have arrived in India to witness this glorious day as chief guests. Be it firearm or melee attacks, be it land, air, water or sea, the Indian Armed Forces is ready for all battles. As the first Republic Day since Operation Sindoor, this year's parade reflects the preparedness and resolve of India's armed forces.
A dramatic escalation of tension surrounding ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Bangladesh's exclusion from the tournament follows Bangladesh Cricket Board's refusal to play matches in India due to security concerns and the ICC's rejection of venue relocation request to co-host Sri Lanka has drawn sharp open support from Pakistan. A PCB chairman, Mohsin Naqvi, has publicly condemned the ICC's handling as unfair and discriminatory, accusing the global body of applying double standards and highlighting that Bangladesh, as a full member, deserved flexibility rather than outright removal, with Scotland stepping in as replacement. This stance has fueled accusations of politics, with critics pointing to Pakistan's vocal solidarity, offering to host Bangladesh's matches if needed, and even mulling its own withdrawal in protest as evidence of deeper influence or alignment in Bangladesh's cricket decisions, especially amid reports that Pakistan initially encouraged or backed the BCB's hardline position. This episode underscores how bilateral frictions, particularly involving India-hosted matches, continue to spill into international cricket governance, turning what should be a celebration of the game into a battleground of accusations and brinkmanship. Take a look.
Politicization of the ICC T20 Men's World Cup continues, and now Pakistan has openly come out to bat for the knocked-out Bangladesh cricket team. Bangladesh had requested World Cup matches to be shifted outside India, a request that was denied by the ICC. And now Bangladesh stands knocked out, a move that has drawn reactions from India's other neighbor as well. The Islamabad-Dhaka tango is out and open as Pakistan is now threatening to boycott T20 World Cup.
देखें, अगर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान कहती है कि नहीं खेलना तो वो 22वीं टीम ले आएं, फिर जो भी आएगी, बट ये फैसला गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान ने करना है.
Attempting to politicize cricket, Pakistan Cricket Board Chairman Mohsin Naqvi said that ICC was being unfair to Bangladesh. This does nothing but exposes Pakistan's hand in Bangladesh cricket.
मेरा ख्याल है बांग्लादेश के साथ ज़्यादती हुई है, और मैंने आईसीसी की बोर्ड की मीटिंग में भी यही कहा था. आप डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स नहीं कर सकते हैं कि एक मुल्क के लिए आप कहें कि जी जो मर्ज़ी जब मर्ज़ी फ़ैसला कर ले और दूसरे मुल्क के लिए टोटली ऑपोजिट फ़ैसला करें. और इसीलिए हमने ये स्टैंड लिया है कि बांग्लादेश के साथ ज़्यादती हो रही है. बांग्लादेश को हर सूरत में वर्ल्ड कप को में उनको खिलाना चाहिए. वो एक बड़ा स्टेक होल्डर है और उनके साथ ये ज़्यादती नहीं होनी चाहिए.
ICC had termed its decision to oust Bangladesh difficult but unavoidable. And now, as sources claim, Pakistan could also face sanctions from ICC if it boycotts the World Cup in support of Bangladesh.
Viewers, a political storm has erupted in Maharashtra following controversial remarks by Seher Yunus Sheikh, 22-year-old newly elected AIMIM corporator from Ward 30 in the Thane Municipal Corporation. And we see that it declared in her victory speech that she would paint Mumbra green over her 5-year term, a phrase widely interpreted as a symbolic reference to expanding the AIMIM's influence given the party's association with the color green, though critics slammed it as communal and provocative rhetoric aimed at polarizing the region. A statement quickly went viral, prompting a sharp backlash from rival parties like the BJP and Shiv Sena factions, with Maharashtra Deputy CM going ahead, Shinde asserting that Thane is saffron and will remain so. Sheikh later defended her words as purely symbolic and tied to her party's colour and ambitions for development in the area, eventually issuing an apology amid the backlash. The AIMIM leader Imtiaz Jalil staunchly backed her, doubling down by stating the party would spread green across Maharashtra, signalling aggressive expansion plans. Episode has reignited heated debates over the use of communal rhetoric in local politics. Take a look.
The AIMIM has found itself at the centre of a political controversy in Maharashtra's Thane district. Following her victory from Ward 30 in the Thane Municipal Cooperation elections, AIMIM leader Seher Sheikh remarked that Mumra would be completely painted green in the coming years. This statement sparked outrage across party lines. Sheikh had said that every candidate from Mumra would be from AIMIM in the next 5 years.
अब मेरी गुजारिश है आप सबसे कि आने वाले 5 साल बाद भी जब इलेक्शंस होंगे इंशाल्लाह, आप लोगों को उस इलेक्शन में इससे भी बड़ा मुंह तोड़ जवाब उनको देना है। पूरे के पूरे मुमरा को ग्रीन कलर से ऐसे रंगना है कि इन लोगों को यहाँ से बुरी तरह से पछाड़ के भेजना है इंशाल्लाह। हर एक कैंडिडेट इंशाल्लाह 5 साल बाद सिर्फ और सिर्फ MIM का आएगा, क्योंकि अब इलेक्शन में आप मजलिस की ताकत समझ चुके हैं और ये ताकत हमको अल्लाह से आती है।
While she later clarified that the remark referred to the party's green flag and electoral ambitions, opposition parties accused her of making a communal statement. Mumra is a Muslim-dominated area and a part of the Mumra-Kalwa Assembly constituency, currently represented by NCP SP MLA Jitendra Awad. On the other hand, defending his party colleague, former Lok Sabha MP and AIMIM leader Imtiaz Jalil doubled down on the statement, saying his party intends to paint not just Mumra but all of Maharashtra green.
हम हमारी ये जो बच्ची चुनकर आई है शहर, उसके स्टेटमेंट से हम कतई किनारा नहीं कर रहे हैं, बिल्कुल नहीं कर रहे हैं। हम पूरी तरह से पूरी मजबूती के साथ मजलिस इत्तेहाद और मुस्लिमीन एक बार फिर से कहकर जा रहे हैं कि सिर्फ मुमरा की क्या बात कर रहे हैं, तो आने वाले वक्त के अंदर हम महाराष्ट्र के अंदर हम अच्छा खासा हरे रंग को फैलाएंगे।
Jalil also accused the Maharashtra police of selective action, claiming that the notice was issued under pressure from a small group of protesters. After being summoned by police, Seher Sheikh submitted a written apology stating that her remarks were misunderstood and carried no communal intent. She maintained that her statement was purely political, aimed at highlighting AIMIM's future electoral goals. The BJP also came down heavily on the AIMIM leaders, slamming their remarks.
इम्तियाज जलील, कान खोल के सुन लो। छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज के भगवा ध्वज से महाराष्ट्र की पहचान है और महाराष्ट्र को कभी कोई भी व्यक्ति इस भगवे ध्वज से अलग नहीं कर सकता। ये जो गजवाए हिंद, इस्लामिक कैलिफेट, इस्लामिक रिपब्लिक के जो ख्वाब आप देख रहे हैं ना, ये ख्वाब देखना बंद कीजिए। महाराष्ट्र की पहचान भगवे से है।
MIM वाले महाराष्ट्र में कुछ गली मोहल्ले के चुनाव जीतने के बाद इस कदर पगला गए हैं मानो पूरे महाराष्ट्र और देश की बागडोर उनके आसपास हाथ में आ गई। वो जिस तरीके से हिंदू मुस्लिम रिश्ते में एक जहर बोने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, इसका खामियाजा उनको भोगना पड़ेगा। उनको मैं बता देना चाहता हूं कि यह देश, यह प्रदेश छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज का प्रदेश है, जिन्होंने हिंदवी स्वराज्य की स्थापना की थी और तब की थी जब औरंगजेब एक बहुत बड़ा ताकतवर शहंशाह था। और जब उस शहंशाह ने महाराष्ट्र को, हिंदुस्तान को हरा करने की कोशिश की और उसमें नाकामयाब रहा, तो ये किस खेत की मूली है?
Meanwhile, AIMIM has emerged as a surprise performer in the Thane Municipal Cooperation elections, winning 5 of 131 seats. The party outperformed the Congress, which failed to win a single seat, and Shiv Sena UBT, which managed only 1. With elections over but temper still high, the controversy has once again put the spotlight on political rhetoric and its impact on social harmony in Maharashtra.
And viewers, fresh escalation in Canada-US trade tensions. US President Trump has threatened 100% tariffs on Canadian goods. That's right, warning that closer Canada-China trade ties could endanger North American economic security. Canada's trade minister has now denied that Canada is seeking a free trade agreement with China, calling Trump's assertion a miscalculation. Take a look.
US President Donald Trump issued a sharp warning to Canada, threatening to impose 100% tariffs on Canadian imports if Ottawa moves forward with any substantial trade deal involving China. The threat came in a social media post where Trump claimed China would exploit Canada's economy, undermining US interests. He even used a nickname for Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, calling him Governor Carney. Trump's comments came after Ottawa and Beijing agreed to resolve several tariff issues. However, Canada's minister responsible for Canada-US trade, Dominic LeBlanc, responded directly, saying Canada is not pursuing a free trade agreement with China. He stated what was achieved with Beijing was a resolution on several tariff issues, not a comprehensive trade pact. Canada's government also says its trade strategy centers on diversification, strengthening economic partnerships globally while maintaining close ties with the United States, its largest trading partner by far. This diplomatic row comes amid widening tensions following Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's recent speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where he critiqued coercive economic practices by major powers. The remarks drew rebuke from President Donald Trump and contributed to the current discord between Ottawa and Washington. For now, Canada insists no free trade deal with China, only targeted tariff resolutions, and an ongoing commitment to its alliance with the United States, even as disagreements over trade strategy and global geopolitics simmer.
And viewers, that's all we have on 6 Stories at 6. I'm Shivangi Shukla signing off. But do not go anywhere. The news continues here on Republic TV. Stay tuned.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात. वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है. अरे मेरे राजा राजा और प्योर मसाला. केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे. दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे. केसरिया से मन जोगी.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला. सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ.
8 मिनट में तैयार.
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला.
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's...
When I first came on TV as an anchor, I used to do something called Surkhiyan, which is the headlines in Hindi. I was freaked out about it every time because I would mess up my Hindi, but it was the only chance at anchoring. Then when I anchored a little bit, people little bit recognize you. So I stayed in Mayur Vihar. So when I used to take my car out to put petrol, the guy putting petrol say, "Sir, कौन से serial में आते हैं?" God, my journalistic career has gone for a toss. After all this reporting, sir, आप कोई serial में आते हैं?
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. The president is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO, Jamie Dimon, seeking
As large language models reshape global power dynamics, the debate is no longer theoretical. The question is, can India build a foundational model of its own? And what would it take to do so responsibly? This conversation brings us with an entrepreneurial ambition, with technical realism, examining the infrastructure, the talent, and the strategic choices that are required to build models at national scale. So for this very, very interesting conversation, please welcome Mr. Raghav Agarwal, co-founder Fluid AI, on the topic, Can India Build Its Own GPT? And he will be in conversation with Mr. Niranjan Narayan Swamy, executive editor for News Republic TV. Big round of applause, please.
Thank you, Raghav, for being with us today. So, what is an Indian ChatGPT model?
So, Niranjan, what's interesting is an Indian ChatGPT model today for almost any consumer and anyone in the room today is ChatGPT only, right? Because our usage of any pure Indic model out there is not there right now. Let's be honest where we are. But that doesn't mean that this is going to be the situation in 2 years or 3 years down the line, right? I think a lot of people, especially in India, get very concerned that we don't have our own model. But there's a very interesting memo by Google which says that there really is no moat in the model. Because if you see, when China did its DeepSeek movement, that was an open source model. When Europe does Mixtral, they have an open source version of that. And when all these US guys are competing, Anthropic, Google, etc., they want our model, they want their models exposed to the Indian audience.
Correct.
Because India may be a good software exporter, but it is one of the world's best data exporters. A lot of people get concerned, oh, that's a colonial mindset, we're exporting data. But these models are data hungry. Without data, they don't adapt. And if you don't have the Indian audience on them, you will not have a good model. So I almost look at it alternatively. Yes, we may not have our own model today. We'll have it shortly, maybe a year, 2, 3 years. But even now, we are in a very strong position.
Yeah. What is an Indic model? And how far are we from this Indic model?
So in Indic model, let's break it down, right? India has so many languages, right? Most of the global models have been trained on English and the general internet. And Indian languages have been a small component of that, right? So their training sets are very small on that, right? Now, when we do a general chat, yes, even a global model will perform, a chat GPT will give you some answers. But when we go to depth, nuance, history, culture, bias, etc., that's when these global models collapse, right? Because they do not suit the Indian mindset. So an Indic model will be largely, firstly, trained on India-specific data, which may not rest in the global internet, not in the public world. It may be resting in specific data sources which need to be annotated, specific audiences, specific populations may need to contribute to it. Secondly, it will be extremely customized to an Indian population's usage of it, right? So linguistically very powerful. The voice will be exactly as if we speak in maybe Hindi, Marathi, etc. So the power in that would be is that the UPI movement, right? Even before UPI existed, you could do a net banking transfer, IMPS, you could have instantaneous money transfers. But it didn't break the barrier because it was not on the phone, right? It was not on the phone. You needed to add a beneficiary. There was a whole journey to it. So even today, anyone sitting in a village can use ChatGPT.
Correct.
But because it is not Indic enough, it's not the way we as Indians react and do business or do live our lives. Those models will not perform.
But it is also prone to manipulation, right?
Correct.
Now, okay, let me ask a question to the audience. How many of you use ChatGPT here? Almost, 60, 70, 80% of them use ChatGPT.
I'm surprised with the other 20%.
I have a few students here from our School of Journalism, and I have a few, I think some of our employees were here as well. You know how we catch them using ChatGPT?
How do you do that?
When you ask them to write a story on the Delhi government, for example, or something in Delhi, and whenever there's a mention of Arvind Kejriwal, still shows up as Chief Minister of Delhi. And one more thing, Donald Trump always shows up as former US President.
Because the
these are biases for some reason. And you get caught. These are biases, right?
Correct. So the challenge is that these models, the training data sets, are largely been defined by Western organizations, right? So they've gone to Western media sources or Western sources of literature, whereas the Indian component in that is a minuscule percentage, right? It's 3, 5, 7%. So there's a general, it's not only a bias, it's a significant misunderstanding in some sense because they're coming with a very different mindset to the entire game, right? So when we talk about an Indic model, it also does need to, maybe the starting point itself needs to be very Indian data sources, a very Indian contextual understanding of history. Because otherwise, no matter how much we can, so there's a concept called fine-tuning, right? You take a global model and you say, okay, I'm now going to expose it to certain data sets which are mine and try to change it. But you're still starting with a raw material that's very out there, right? So that's why these Indic models and the government spending a lot of money to get them out there could be very, right now it looks theoretical.
How far are we from this model?
I think maybe 1.5 year is when we see first quality outputs come. So I would say we are 2 years away from the ChatGPT movement of a true Indic model developed in India. But that could be transformational.
How challenging is this? I mean, where is all this Indian data, Indian mythology, Indian history, where is all this going to be fed from? How difficult is this challenge to digitize all of it?
So, credit to the government where it's due, right? I think the Bhashini project has been very interesting, right? Because they didn't just start, it's very exciting to get excited by the sexy piece, right? Which is the model. Oh, we have a beautiful model and all that, right? But there's a data journey, there's a massive data journey at the back. And that's what I think we are building up to that moment where Bhashini has sort of worked, a lot of educational institutes, research institutes like IIT have pushed this forward. And they are going into that historical data. They're saying, can we get folks to annotate that data for us? Can we get folks to move that data from maybe, if it's a book sitting in a library, can it get scanned? Can it get digitalized? Can it move into our data streams? And can we get authentic speakers of the language to sort of contribute voice samples, etc.? So that part of the journey, I feel, is done. It's not complete, but it's done to an extent that a good model can come out.
Okay. So there is a lot of excitement in India. Of course, the government is holding this huge AI summit as well. The government is pushing AI, but we don't really have a model of our own, which is a big problem. Like most big countries have their own model, right? So we are, of course, are an interface industry. Would you say we are an interface industry, which is basically AI industry using already existing global models for their end use, for their business? But are we? How would you see the transformation of India from being an interface AI industry to a model-based AI industry?
So I think, Niranjan, you bring up a great point, right? The concern is that the model is not there. But if you look at the interface, we are leading there, right? So let's break down an AI industry today, right? 3 pieces. GPU layer, right? Designed in the US, and Taiwan manufactures it. India plays a good component there. We are still a good designer of chips, but yes, it's still not our IP, etc. Right? Foundational model layer, we're not there yet, not at least at the global scale. We will play in the Indic world. Whether we play in the global model world, not sure. The third piece, and that space is largely an American-China duopoly as well, is the interface layer, right? Is the applications which consume AI. This is the first time, right? Like, if you look at the IT revolution, 80s, 90s, we were behind for a significant period of time, right? We didn't have the hardware. It was a very license thing. You would import computers very slowly, hardware, etc.
Yeah.
This time we are on par with the world when the AI revolution hit. But we have the most number of engineers, right? We have the most understanding of software development in the world. And if you see, in the SaaS world, India couldn't really make anything that was very, the SaaS softwares, we didn't have got a big global stuff. Maybe you got one Zoho out there. But this time, if you see the explosion of small Indian startups which are saying, I'm using AI to become the global interface for sales, to become the global interface for healthcare, something like a Cure AI, right? There's so many of them that are playing in that space. Because this time, we are at par with the world, but we have the talent to go further than them. So another thing is, a lot of people say, okay, model. But the interface to AI is equally important, right? Let's say when ChatGPT upgraded from ChatGPT 4 to 5.1, it forced an upgrade of the model to you. Yeah. Were you saying that, oh, now I will, because they upgraded the model, I'm not going to perform on it? No, right? The interface was very important. You were used to ChatGPT in a particular experience. So, yes, anytime any Indian AI company uses maybe a global model but becomes the interface for it in sales, in healthcare, in other industries, that's equally important because I can switch the model at the back, right? I can have multi-models. You can even say, okay, for query A, go to model A, query B, go to model B. So then where does the model lie? It gets abstracted away like electricity. The interface becomes king. So that's another play.
Yeah. The reason why I asked you this question and why this is important is I don't know how many of them in the room know the importance of this. For example, okay, growing up, we saw Facebook. The Facebook boom happened. Facebook was created in America, right? But we are the largest market, right? And then you had Twitter. I'm guessing after America, we're the largest market, right? You look at Instagram. Each time the app is created somewhere else, but the market is here, the data is here, right? And the concern is always around the data. But in this case, we don't have a model, but we have the interface. Now, how do you see how big a market is India for these big models?
So let's divide it into two pieces, right? Consumer, right? And consumer, because as a consuming nation, we don't have the consumption power to pay for it. It's going to be ad-driven. You see ChatGPT launch those various tiers, right? Go, etc. at much cheaper prices, just like Netflix did it, right? So you're going to get all of this at very cheap rates as a consumer. We'll consume a lot, but
is it going to remain cheap? I'm not sure because I'll tell you. I mean, just from I was talking to you about this 2 years back. AI was nowhere, right? And then we heard of OpenAI.
Correct.
And then we heard of a controversy around OpenAI. And then there was ChatGPT. Correct. And then we saw them calling themselves non-profit. Right? And I saw Sam Altman leaving. Yeah. And then Sam Altman came back. Yeah. And then they said, we're for profit. Yeah. And then they said, this is for free. Yeah. And now they're going to charge people. Yeah. And now there are going to be ad insertions.
$1 billion of IPOs are coming in.
Yeah, so it's not really a CSR sort of a project.
Yeah, so I think that's where it's going to be why are we so big for even a Twitter or a Facebook, etc. Right? Again, our ad dollars, and I think Snapchat CEO talked about that, right? An Indian user is much less valuable than a global American user.
Why is that?
Because there's consumption capability, right? If you're going to advertise to an Indian user, he has a various spending pattern, which is much lesser than an American consumers, right? So the challenge that is not, but the thing is our data is valuable because these models train on that data. So if you are going to take 1/6 or 1/5 of humanity and say you are not going to have access to this model, your model is going to be a weaker one for all you know, right? So you're not going to stop exposing your model to us, is at least my hypothesis. But the interesting part is because we built so many applications, it's on the business side, right? We also consume these models in our business applications, right? Whatever software India is making, whether it's a TCS, whether it's Infosys, they are then making these decisions on which global model is going to be used out there, right?
Yeah.
So that gives us a seat at the table because finally, if you own the interface layer, you are the decider of the models. You may go for multi-model, model democracy. So that is also another seat at the table we have.
Yeah. Okay. Now, we know there's a lot of money involved, right? the cost and scale? Because you need to make investments. So how equipped is India to make those investments to scale up? And what are the challenges as you see it?
So at Fluid, see, we've been working a lot, we've been working in AI for almost 12 years now, right? And till the last 3 years, we've never worked with an Indian public sector company, right? Because we always said, hey, there's never the budget there, and this is a very bureaucratic thing. What was very interesting to us, in the last year, we have done multiple projects, sub-$1 million, $1 million plus projects with the public sector. So what we are seeing is there's intent. 2, there is the money power to back this up. And 3, they want to go sovereign on it. So they are spending not just from the perspective of saying, okay, just get a global model and we'll do it on the cloud. GPU layer, foundational model layer, saying, okay, we may not have that right now. Use multiple foundational models, fine-tune them for India, and get them in the business application, right? So India is ready to invest. The government is putting in money, whether the India AI mission, etc.
Yeah.
But the challenge is always going to be, is the money directed appropriately? And I think that's where we are going to see sort of the next year or 2 play out.
Okay. So because you mentioned sovereign foundation model, so do you strongly believe that we should go in for a sovereign foundation model fast, or focus on regulating and adapting global ones?
I think both go hand in hand, right? Because now to say that a sovereign model can just emerge out of there, we don't know, right? Because a lot of this is science and technology, law of probabilities. You may get one in the next 3 months. There may be a kid sitting in a garage we don't know about, just like DeepSeek, right? Came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
No one expected China to bring something so beautiful out there. They did. So this could come anytime, any minute. But having said that, till then, let's regulate the global ones, right? We don't necessarily need to over-regulate. We don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But there can be certain regulation to ensure that where is our data going? How is it going? How is it being used? How are our users being affected by the biases in these models? Can we at least tell the global players to be a little more cognizant of that? Till then, let's keep on investing on the Indian model side. And Indic models, right? I think that's where Indian companies will only bring Indic models out.
Okay. Now, of course, we spoke about the government's interest in AI. They've kept a large chunk of the budget aside for AI in the last budget. And I'm sure they'll do it in this budget as well. We'll have to wait and watch. What do you think is missing today, or are they doing enough on, let's say, the national AI mission? Do you think the government is lacking somewhere, or they need to speed up something in the AI sector? How do you see the government play a role in the building of this the Indian Indic model?
So I think eventually, if you look at the global players also, right, like the government at most can set up the playground, right? It has to be the players in the field that carried it out, right? If you see what was America's government's contribution to OpenAI, yes, they set up a good education system. They had researchers come in. That's about it. China also, when DeepSeek came out, it's coming out from these labs, etc., which have connection just to the education layer, right? So I feel if the government can empower good research and technology development to happen in the country, we get the talent that can not only go ahead and implement AI at an inference layer, but at a training layer. That's all they can do, right? But they've gone beyond, right? We are doing India AI mission. They're spending on the GPUs. They're trying to create sovereignty, etc. That's all good. But in the end, the raw material is the researchers, is the developers who build these models and take it forward. Right?
Oh, great. Okay, then I'll go to that question now. On the question of talent and brain drain, right? Yeah. A lot of, in fact, the founding team of OpenAI and the guys who created ChatGPT, there were many Indians on it.
Correct.
Right? And some of the biggest players, of course, we have fantastic talent here. Fluid AI is one example. We have a lot of talent, but many of them choose to go abroad, choose to study abroad, choose to start off there, right? What can the government do to reverse that? Especially in the field of AI, maybe.
So I think it's still... this is a massive capital game, right? If you see the investments both OpenAI and Anthropic or Google are making, there are billions and billions of dollars that are being spent to train models which may or may not perform, right? But when it comes to India's risk-taking appetite, if there is someone with that kind of mentality that he wants to create a foundational model, not play at the inference or interface layer, but go all in, it's not just about the government giving the capital, right? Because India, there's capital required in so many places. The government can just do that much.
Yeah.
It's about attracting the capital in, right? If you see over the last few years, the soft banks of the world, etc., their investments in India have gone down rather than up, right?
Yeah.
Now, whether that's a part of tax policy, whether that's a part of just getting this capital into the country, we need to sort of incentivize foundational capital coming into the country, right? Otherwise, we are going to have ground-up innovation everywhere. That's happening at a massive scale anyway. But if we want to do foundational stuff, one, yes, let's government direct it, which the government is doing a brilliant job with India emission, etc. But I guess the second piece is to get these massive pools of capital which are waiting, which know India has the talent, to somehow attract that back so that the Sam Altmans of India can also invest billions of dollars and do that. Seeing some elements of that already, right? Whether it be Google set up the facility in Vizag or with Microsoft's investments, etc. The compute power is coming. So I think we are almost there and the government's on the right track.
Are you hoping for some policy change in the budget on that? Or have you guys put forward that point of view to the government?
I think essentially yes. As a community of AI enthusiasts or as AI companies, I think everyone's telling the government is that the request is only one, right? Just open the floodgates of capital. Because the risk capital can come to India. India can be the innovator out here. Very thankful for the government's investments in the India emission. I think that's where, and the kind of capacity building the government's doing, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on the GPU chip layer. And then the preference for sort of saying, at least in local sourcing contracts, to say, can we use Indic models? Can we use Indian companies to implement this? So that's already happening. I think just the risk capital now needs to come in.
Okay. Speaking about fluid AI, so how does fluid AI fit into this ecosystem? And, how are you guys building a foundational tech apparatus?
So for us, I think what we've done is we've gone up a layer above the foundational layer. We are saying we built the no-code agentic AI layer. So, and that's been allowing us to do multiple use cases, right? So everything from collections to customer support to things like inventory management, right? So for someone like an HPCL, we're doing 24 Gen AI use cases. For a NABARD, we're doing 14 Gen AI use cases. Obviously, the global players, it's about 40, 50 agents, right? So what we've done is we've abstracted away all the complexity of launching an AI agent. We've said the models can rest beneath, and we work with both global, Indian players, open source models, etc. And at the top, our customers then get an agentic platform to play with, right?
In fact, you spoke about you creating an AI avatar of Warren Buffett. You want to talk about it? Because recently what struck most of us is we had this debate, Arnab versus AI. Okay, fantastic debate. Because what was fascinating is how AI was responding to, let's say, an Aravali issue.
Correct.
Right? Because these are questions where biases / policy comes into play.
True.
And that was a testing question, which I felt was interesting, the kind of responses that came in. So I'll get to that. But tell me a little bit about your, this AI avatar of Warren Buffett and what kind of, patents that